All aboard the Brock Purdy train. The train's leaving the station. If you ain't on it. No, I'm joking. I'm buying Brock Purdy cards, and I'm going to tell y'all why. And it's not why you think. Let's get into it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. Yes, you heard it right. From somebody who is adamantly against buying into the hype. I am. I'm buying the hype. But it's not because of what you may think. I'm not buying it to flip. I'm not buying it to make $1 million. I'm not buying it for anything. I'm not speculating that he's going to be the greatest quarterback in the world. I am speculating a little bit, but not to the extent that some of you may imagine. If you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, what I'm talking about is the quarterback, young kid, rookie from the San Francisco 49ers, who, by all accounts, should have been a career clipboard holding quarterback, maybe even a practice squad type guy who would eventually wash out within a couple of years and end up working either as a financial advisor or some sort of manager at a Home Depot or something. But somehow, fate would have it, ends up being the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers and is actually playing rather decent. More importantly, he has won a game in the playoffs, beat the Dallas Cowboys, which I personally will be forever in his debt for doing so. Because after that game, the amount of entertainment that I have received as a result of that win, subsequently the Cowboys' loss, has been something that I just can't put a price on. It's been great. But he's performing pretty well. The kid's, got maybe a 7 or 8 touch. Let me see. Where's he at so far? 13 touchdowns this season. And he's only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Right? Yeah, about 9 games. Done pretty well in a couple of them. 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns against the Seahawks. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Cardinals. Almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Raiders. I mean, we're not talking about a lightning strike here. This kid's doing pretty good. If you take a look at his cards, we'll hop over here real quick. Take a look at his cards. He's doing, hovering around $40-$50 after this last win. Raw, this kid's cards are so new, and he came out of nowhere so quick. Not very many graded cards out there for sale. There are, obviously, he got hot, 2 weeks, probably about 4 weeks ago. He started getting hot. So if at that time you decided, hey, I'm going to send in some cards to get graded, and you went, obviously, the cash grab route, which would be to send them to PSA, chances are you're not going to get them back in time, to be able to do anything viable with them. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about in this episode. Today's Wednesday, as of Monday, jumped online and purchased a handful of them. I bought maybe 3 or 4 of them. Mercari is the best for these types of situations. I bought them under the $40. I think they're like hovering around $40-$50 right now. I got them in. I got a good price on them. But what's important here is what I want to talk about is going to be a little bit different from any other Brock Purdy video that's out there. I struggled with myself for a half a second because I said to myself, man, this kid's pretty interesting. His story is pretty extraordinary. And I would like to own one of his rookie cards. And I stopped myself for, again, half a second because I was like, well, I don't want to buy into the hype. I don't want to be a hype chaser. I'm not going to buy any. I'm not going to buy any. But then I kind of had to remind myself why I wanted to buy the card. And my reason for buying the card is pretty simple. I would like to document this moment in history. If Brock Purdy goes on to win next week against, I think he's playing against the Eagles, right? Or somebody. I can't remember. Let me see. I think it's the Eagles. Yep, playing against the Eagles. Now, chances are they're not going to beat the Eagles. Let's face it, the Eagles are a pretty good team. But in the event, any given Sunday, right? In the event that he does, and he actually goes on to the Super Bowl, this guy was the last pick in the NFL draft. Mr. Irrelevant. He should have been washed out. He should be holding a clipboard on somebody's practice squad in the CFL, right? By all intents and purposes. Yet, he is about to ascend to, I mean, he's deep in the playoffs already. He already won one game in the playoffs. If he beats Philadelphia this weekend, the story behind this kid is going to be amazing. Forget the values, forget the amount of money that his cards are going to go for. I want to document this moment in history right now. I want to document it. And I want to document it by owning a few of his cards. And that's what's driving my purchase. It's not the money, it's not the flip, it's not the hype. It's my desire as a collector to take a moment in the sport that is extraordinary and document it by owning one of his rookie cards. The purpose being 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now when I'm going through this collection with my kids or my grandkids or whatever, and somebody opens that up and goes, "Grandpa, who's Brock Purdy? What is this?" And I'm going to go, "Let me tell you about Brock Purdy, buddy. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the NFL draft, Mr. Irrelevant, that went on to win a Super Bowl in one strange year, and then we never heard from him ever again." Right? And then I can tie in some moral stories about perseverance and never quitting and all that good stuff. And that's great. That's all good stuff. I mean, this kid is an embodiment of that, of that structure. But I wanted to do a video because I almost stopped myself from why I really collect, because I didn't want to be caught up in the hype. And it's important that you don't lose sight of why you collect. I collect because I like this stuff, right? I collect because I like the stories. I collect, because I want to have something to document a moment in history. I collect. My big PC is Hakeem Olajuwon. I love Hakeem Olajuwon because I love the time in my life when I was watching Hakeem Olajuwon. Right? I remember my dad. I remember sitting on the couch watching those games and listening to my dad scream in Spanish at the TV. That's why I collect. And that's why I want to continue to collect. And I want to encourage those of you who collect for those reasons, or for whatever reasons you collect, doesn't matter, to not forget your North Star and to stay on the course of collecting for the reasons and the way that you decide to. Financial, reasons permitting, right? But I kind of caught myself for a second, and I wanted to make this video in case anybody else ever gets caught in that kind of thing, to just remember why you collect. I'm going to enjoy this weekend. It's going to be some good football. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you guys have ever been caught in a situation where you wanted to buy a card because you thought it was cool, but then you kind of didn't want to get caught in the hype, so you kind of let it go, and then you kind of regretted it afterwards. I didn't want to regret it. And I wanted to have a moment in history, which is why I bought the base, cheapest thing that I could get my hands on. And that's probably why my collection consists of quite a bit of base rookie cards, just because they mark the history. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Love y'all. Peace.